Calling in from the Windy City, it's time for Jwfuzion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
Welcome to this week's podcast of Jwfuzion. I'm your co-host, J.H. Carpenter Barnes, which I have been taught by my lovely, brilliant, and beautiful wife. What's your name, baby?
Wendy B.
I know her name is Wendy B, but I love hearing her say it. We have some awesome guests here
We're
on
in
this
for
week.
such a treat.
Listen, this is going to be you think we've had some awesome shows?
No.
We've had some awesome shows.
We have,
but we got some,
today.
we know some awesome people.
This is, you know what? I was thinking, they are one of our favorite couples.
I think you're right.
Wow.
Baby, I love the way you write so much.
I guess I am too.
You are. So listen, introduce our guest, baby.
We have Mr. Ron Collum and his gorgeous, incredible, and beautiful wife, Tamera. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
As Tamera blushes, she's like, Lord.
Thank you all for having us, and we want to say that you all are definitely one of our favorite couples.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
You know, you have to say one of so nobody gets offended.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
I thought we was your people. I was like, Lord, I said one of.
We thought y'all liked us the best.
You know what I'm saying? How we get bumped? Like, Lord, we said one of.
Yeah.
Yeah, people so funny, man. You know.
And people are.
I know.
So we wanted to talk. We have so much to cover with them.
Yes.
Because you guys have been married how long?
Go ahead,
I say,
sweetheart.
Lord, did
Go
you see
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll be celebrating 25 years.
Yeah.
25
This
years.
month.
That's
This
awesome.
month.
Awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So we want to talk about so much about your relationships, and Ron, we want to get to this project, this exciting project that you're doing. But tell us, so 25 years, people tend to think when they say, because I'm going to just go in. Is that
Well, let's
okay?
do this first.
Okay.
You
know, I like to go right in.
I know you do.
Just want to go.
But before we get into it, let's let Ron talk about a little bit of his story. Tamara tell a little bit of her story.
Okay.
So people can know
Who they is.
We didn't just go get them, from the neighborhood or from their neighbors from around the way. We didn't have nothing else to do today. That it took us months to get them in here.
It did, because people busy.
I know. Tamara just spends time in Florida like she lived there.
While we over here freezing, you know what I'm saying?
And Ron working through the night in his business. So
Right.
we'll tell us a little bit of the story.
Okay, we'll start light.
We'll start light. Go ahead, sweetie.
Well, right now I'm a GM of the first African-American steak and shake that's in the city of Chicago.
Nice.
Putting in a lot of hours, not only with that, but I also have other enterprises that I'm involved in. One we'll talk about that has to do with technology. I'm a technology person.
Okay.
And so that's taken up a lot of our time. Plus, we have an 18-year-old that we're working to get out of school.
He's 18 now.
Yeah, he's 18.
Oh, my gosh.
18.
Pray for
Wow.
him. I got
And
2
then,
more months I'm holding on to. Jesus.
Yeah. And then we have three adults that need attention, and then I got 2 grandbabies. We got 2 grandbabies.
Okay.
So we got a lot going on.
Wow.
That's
That's
a lot.
awesome.
That's a mouthful.
And just for the record, Ron is not the average guy. Ron, how you was 6'7"?
Yes, I'm 6'7". You probably don't notice it because I'm sitting down.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do. Because most people stand at that level. You're sitting.
So look, and this is the truth. I always say 6'7" because that was my last listed height, but I'm really closer to 6'8".
Really?
See,
Okay.
so mine works, babe. I'm 5'8.25".
I always give you
So
the
you
quarter.
have to give me that.
Babe, I always give you that
that's
quarter.
the list. It says
Don't I give you
five-
that quarter? I give you
I'm
the
just
quarter.
saying.
And
See?
I want to add that the quarter is actually a quarter in change, like a quarter, a real quarter.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Okay. Okay.
James didn't know
You
that,
see
but
how
I
they
didn't
know
know.
that, Timmy?
That's okay.
I didn't know that.
I still love you. Anyway, so Tamara.
5'8" as well. So
Right.
what can I say? I may have to add a quarter in there.
Right. like in change.
Like in change.
Oh my gosh.
So tell us a little bit about you, Tamara.
Well, let's see. Right now I'm working full-time downtown with the American Osteopathic Association. Absolutely love the position that I work for. And like James said, love it when I get a chance to travel. It provides me an opportunity to just get out and experience, other places. And warmer climates, which has been wonderful during this cold season.
I'm so sure.
Yeah, just enjoy it tremendously. And again, yes, we've been married. We'll be 25 years this month.
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
And excited and just doing life together, you know, facing the things we face, but believing God and going through it each and every day, one day at a time.
And that's the important piece.
Well, that's the part I like, doing it together.
Together.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, now, baby, you can go. Go ahead.
Now can I ask my question?
Yes, baby. Go ahead.
So just being together for 25 years, a lot of people, when they, say I do, for better, for worse, a lot of times you can't imagine what worse is. And you guys have a blended family as well. So like for people who are out there who are newly married, or someone who is not married, which I think is important, catch you before you make the decision. Right. Like, what are some of the tips over your time together? Because everything hasn't been gravy.
No, you're right.
So how do you get through that? How do you manage having a blended family? It's a big question. So just tell us what tips you guys have, or what has helped you get to this 25, and say it with a smile.
Yes, absolutely.
Some people like, we've been married.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
20
well,
something.
I think in the very beginning, before we got married, and as we were looking to, we came to the agreement that we wanted a household of peace. We had both gone through, similar situations, and we liked peace. We liked calm. And so we decided that's what we wanted. No arguing, none of this stuff. We just needed to have a life and a household that was going to be comfortable, something you want to come home to. You deal with so much in the workforce, on the job.
Yes.
You deal with so much outside of
just
the job.
Life, right?
Just life in general. And when you come home, you want to be able to relax. You want to enjoy your spouse. You want to enjoy your family. And you just need to have a sense of calmness in order to be able to stay focused and be able to then go out the next day and do it all again. So that was one of the decisions that we made in the very beginning.
Right.
Okay.
That's awesome. So did you get to that point of peace just from your past relationships? Like, listen, this has to be different in this way?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things while we were dating, we sat down and talked, and I said, look, what people often do is they dress up. See, when you're going out, you always dress up.
Sure.
Yes.
So when you're not living together, they only see the best.
Yes.
Right.
And so what the problem is people get married and they continue to play dress up.
And it's important you say play dress up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the other person to see the worst.
Okay.
So when we were dating, I said, no dress up period. This is my stuff.
Yeah.
This is my stuff.
Sure.
This is what we're dealing with.
Okay.
I need to know your stuff.
Yeah.
Because we all come into a relationship with a bag.
With stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have this bag on our shoulders.
Yeah.
And then we get married, and then now she has a bag and I got a bag. And then we dump it in the middle of the floor.
And that's the wrong time to unpack.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where problems happen. So when it came to peace, I always use this analogy. We had the Bible story of Samson and Delilah. And we always talk about that, him being disobedient and all that other stuff. But I was like, there has to be a reason why he keeps going back to Delilah. And one of the issues when I looked at it was the fact that he was out doing what he was doing out in the world, but when he came back to Delilah, there was a place of peace that kept drawing him back.
A place of solace.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so
one
of the things we always talked about, I said, I have to fight, and so does she. But I have to fight dealing with, and James, as an African-American male, what it's like out in this world, dealing with all that stuff. So when I have to go out and deal with all of that, I need to come home to a place of peace. I can't fight out there and then fight at home.
No, you're going to be worn out.
If that happens, I have no place to regenerate, recharge, go back out here and do it again. So that's one of the main things that we focused on in the beginning.
Yeah, and what happens is you start looking for a place of peace.
Right.
And that's so very true as far as the bag thing, except
you
Wendy
go.
had a bag. I had a trunk. I did. It had wheels and everything. Stickers of where I've been.
Yeah.
Travel places.
Travel places. So what Wendy and I did, we went to counseling for 18 months, 19 months, 20 months.
It was a while.
Yeah, it was about 18 to 20 months before we got married.
Right.
And we never lived together. We didn't, when we started dating, we were no spending the night.
Right, absolutely.
When we got together, when I met her and I decided we were going to date, I asked her son, I took her son and sat him down. I said, listen, I want your permission to date your mom. And he said, I knew it. He
They
said,
know
I knew it.
everything.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So,
That's nice.
but the point was, I told Wendy, I said, you let him know that this is not going to be one of those situations. So he'll know, he won't wonder.
Right.
Is this guy going to be spending? Am I going to wake up and he walking through the house in house shoes?
What's that, baby boy?
So I put his mind at rest from the very beginning. This is a very respectful relationship, and I showed him when I would come pick Wendy up, I would come to the door and ring the bell. So one
And
day,
what's important about that is that when I told him that, he had a sigh of relief, like, thank God.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he don't know,
And
he
that
know
makes
that
a difference for people who are listening.
Yeah, he knows.
Who have children.
He knows what he hears from his friends, what he sees in the movies,
Right.
But what was interesting was I came to pick Wendy up one day, and I came to the front door and I rang the bell. Now, I knew how to go and come in through the garage because I know the code.
Right.
But I rang the bell. He said, why'd you ring the bell? I said, when you come to pick a young lady up for a date,
Right.
you come to the front door and you ring the bell and to show respect. He said, oh, because he didn't know.
Right.
But
Right.
so what I endeavored to do from the very beginning was to show him this is how you treat a lady when you're dating. When we got ready to get married, I sat him down again. I said, listen, your mom doesn't know this. I have her a ring, and I'm going to propose to her. Is it? Do I have your permission to marry your mom? And he looked at it. He said, "Whoa, that's nice." He said, "Oh yeah, sure, that's nice." So my point is that we set examples, just like you set examples for your son, and for your daughter. You set a standard. For my son, it's the same thing. I set an example for him. Now he's an amazing dad. I mean, he's an outstanding dad. He
is.
He is the most amazing. He's the father I wish I had. I wish he was my dad.
Right. And I met
Yeah.
your son and your daughter-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what you're saying is so very true about dressing up and being who you are. I didn't like who I was, so I had to go figure out what was wrong with me.
And it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. I think what people tend to do is, I'm going to figure this out. And sometimes, in a lot of cases, you're so far into it, you need someone with a bird's eye view to
Yes.
say.
Yes.
It's like going through a maze, and you need somebody at the top
To
that
look
can
over
see
the overview.
to get you out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it exactly. That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Someone has a bird's eye view, looking on the outside that can see the paths.
Right.
Because our counselor clearly knew
Jesus.
to deal with the
Lord.
issues that was going on with me. She said, "No, we gonna do it."
We
'cause
would be worn out after 1 hour. Like, I'm going
be
to
worn
bed. I don't need dinner. I just need to go to
I'm
bed.
just
'Cause wow.
But see, let me share this, and because this is part of my testimony, and because I had a lot of stuff too. But one of the things that has such a great impact is I, as a very young, I would have to say I was a child, I saw somebody get killed.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I remember the event. I can go through the whole thing, but I was with my brother. And but years later, when we were grown, I said, you know what? I remember this event. I can tell it to you vividly. I said, but I don't know how old I was. I said, but I do remember this. I was not in school.
Oh wow.
He said, you couldn't have been no more than 5 years old.
Okay.
Now, by the time I
Wow.
was 10 or 11, there was a situation because we stayed in a very tough neighborhood. where a guy was trying to rape my sister.
Okay.
Wow.
And she was fighting him off. So he grabbed a baseball bat and ended up breaking her arm. She had a pin in her arm and everything. Well, back then, news spread through the neighborhood. Well, I knew when my mom and dad kept the gun. So when I found out about it, I go home. I take the gun. I pop the chamber out, see if it was loaded. I spin
You
the,
knew what to
chamber,
do with the gun.
popped
Yeah.
it back in, and I was going on my way out.
You were
door.
10.
Yeah, I was
Jesus.
10.
Okay.
I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And the only thing that stopped me was my father pulled up.
Oh.
And so I went back into the house. But what I'm trying to say is, to this day, I deal with violence or doing violence to people.
Okay.
And if you know me, you wouldn't think that at all.
Yeah.
But it all depends on who you messing with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You messing with somebody I'm responsible for, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
So the idea of going through, getting all that stuff taken care of is critical when you're talking about entering into a relationship.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
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 There were things I realized about myself because Wendy and I would have what we call bumps. And I said, this doesn't make sense. Why am I so upset about this? Is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We got in counseling and come to find out it goes back to when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Absolutely.
And something being taken from me or me being deprived of something. I had an issue about being deprived. I would be at work. All right. Now, I've been to college. I got a degree. I got all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm working at a government agency in the environmental department, you know, going to companies, telling presidents of the company what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the office going off because somebody took something that belonged to me
Right.
to use for their study.
Right.
Yeah.
And so somebody in the office said, listen, y'all, don't touch James's stuff.
Yeah.
Don't take his stuff. Leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I said, that's right. That's right. But I didn't realize that's not healthy.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you that everybody has what I'll call issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single
And
person.
When
That's true.
people respond, 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with you.
It's nothing
It
about
has
you,
to
right?
do with the issues that they have. And I'll add this to it. It has to do with the issues that you had as a child. coming
Uh-huh.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those are the most vulnerable times where fear sets in. Because I can go through stories and things that happen that cause great fear in my life as a child, as a teenager coming up. But those are the things that you face off with on a daily basis.
Wow, man.
So let's hear from Miss Tamera.
What?
It's a little quiet, just a little quiet over here. So you established the peace. That's not always easy.
Well,
just
wait a
depending
minute, babe. Let me
on-
say this. Tamara's quiet,
Ooh, but
but Tamara ain't quiet.
she has no punk.
Let me tell you what.
Nothing weak about Tamara.
Let me tell you what. This is something I saw early on when I met Ron and Tamara. Tamara was talking to us about something, and Tamara said, "Look, we're not having this. We
She
talked
didn't
about
say,
this.
see, baby, she didn't say it like that. She said it's smooth. She said we're not having this. But you
She
see
said-
her whole
she
demeanor.
said-
You're like,
do you
oh,
remember- do you remember what I'm talking about?
okay.
Do you
I know
remember?
Tamara.
I don't even remember.
No,
I
but
remember. She said, I told Ron, we're not having this.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. We've been through too much. We're not having this.
Yeah, and
so I was like, man, that is so cool. But that's how you are. You were vicious about protecting
Yes.
what we had.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You know,
that is important.
that is, you have to.
You have to.
you have to be
Because like you said,
aggressive.
especially being an African-American man, not that we know the experience,
Right.
but growing up in the communities that we grew up in, we know that you go out, you have to fight for respect, you have to fight for everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I have always wanted to establish a home where he wanted to come home to.
Right. I agree.
Like this has been and I think the last 2 weeks for you have been insane at work.
Oh my gosh.
But he was eager to come home.
yes.
And in addition to that, I was happy to have him.
Right.
Because them relationships, like, oh, you coming home on time.
Yep.
Nice.
You don't have to stop off nowhere.
You sure?
None.
You don't need to.
You mean you
don't
really headed
No
straight home?
overtime today.
Got it. Got
Don't
it.
the oil need changing?
But yeah, so that was very important to me.
Yes.
And we've never even talked about that. So we didn't say it in those words,
Right.
peace.
Right.
But I said early on, like, I don't argue. I don't see
no,
any
it's-
benefit to arguing.
There is no benefit to it. It causes strife in the atmosphere. And when you, the wife, the spouse, are uneasy and unsettled, then you can't tend to the husband's needs, the children's needs, the home's needs. You can't get anything done
Right.
when you're frazzled, when you're
Yes.
stressed.
Right.
And that adds up over time.
It does. It adds up. And then you end up popping
Yes.
at something very small,
Right.
and you won't even know what caused you to do that. Well, it's because you built up so much stress and so much frustration. So for me, my job, my goal was, of course, I needed God to help me
Yes.
create that atmosphere. We needed His presence, first of all.
Exactly.
And
Oh, yeah.
we always invited His presence into our home everywhere we lived. And then secondly, I needed Him to be able to show me how to keep that peace in the home. If it meant, making sure that the children had everything they need first before He came home, then absolutely
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And once He came home, my desire was to be able to take care of whatever he needed. Meals, of course, the whole thing, laundry, keeping the house clean. And he'll tell you, I am very much into trying to keep order. I love order
Yes.
because I can function when there's order.
Same.
And when things are out of order, that's when I spin.
Right.
It's like I can't make a decision until I get some things in order. Then I can get my mind to process, okay, now I've got to do this. So I love order. And so therefore that's always been my desire, to just have peace and keep the house in order. And that helps me tremendously.
Now, I'm going to show you how good the Lord is. I have over 20-something years in IT systems and networks. And so what happens is, I don't care how good your system is, it breaks down.
Yeah.
And so I've been trained over the years to find out where it broke down and fix it.
Okay.
So when
Yeah.
things get out of order and she gets frustrated, I'll listen to whatever's going on and I say, this is where we need to start
Okay.
to get things back.
That's a good
Yeah.
balance, though.
Yeah.
But you gotta be willing
to.
to analyze and realize, first of all,
Without accusation.
something's wrong.
Without
without
accusation.
this.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't
You
be
like
jabbing the
order,
finger.
Right.
but this is not. This is out of order. So what
Right.
is wrong with you? Like, but he steps in, like, okay, so maybe we should.
And it's
Tackle
it's a
this.
team effort.
It is a
It's-
team effort. Now, in the beginning, I didn't see it like that. I saw it as criticism
Well, yeah.
because I was, I know what's wrong, and that was a
But
thing.
that was part of your baggage too,
right,
though.
right.
That was
and
in your
that's
baggage.
where I had to learn to grow because
Yeah.
what he was just trying to show me was, okay, well, here's where it starts.
Yes.
So I came to that. I didn't start out that way. I
Yeah.
want to be totally clear.
But that's
I
so
didn't
funny because remember we used to. You would be like, "This isn't." I'm like, "No one can beat me up better than me.
Oh.
I'm the queen
It took me a while
of
to learn
self-analyzation
that, 'cause something
and
would happen.
Right.
I would
was-
criticize. See, you should have. You had
See-
you not done
see,
that.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you that's bad. That I told you one.
Yeah.
And then when Pastor Rob was on the show a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the taco shells,
Jesus.
and Pastor Rob he said, "I want to get back to the taco shell."
He did, and I'm like, "How you just gonna come back to it?"
No, I want to get back to the taco shell.
Sir?
Because what happened was, Wendy made tacos, and Matthew ate up all of the soft.
Unbeknownst to me,
He ate up all, and I was at the store, and I started to buy
and
some.
he hates hard
He hates
taco
hard
Wendy
shells.
said,
Oh,
we
my
have
goodness.
some. I said, so I didn't buy any. So I get home, babe, we don't have any soft flour shells.
Oh,
And that was difficult. Can you
We-
imagine? the
what-
difficult-
what do you-
like, now I have
what
to
do you-
tell this
what
man
do
was
you
just
mean?
at the store.
and don't have soft shell.
Oh my gosh. I was so
The explosion.
upset. I hit the ceiling. And then Wendy was so calm. And I looked at her face and I'm like, man, that was stupid. That was so dumb. But you know what, Ron? What I did, man, I said, you know what, babe, I'm sorry. That will never happen again. And it never happened again. Never.
Thank you,
because
Lord.
she could have let her out. Because Wendy has a her that we keep locked up.
Yeah.
Wendy got a her that ain't no joke.
I
I'm here to
think
tell you.
everybody has that other
Oh, my
side.
gosh.
Yes.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you something that could probably help people. Tammy, her thing was, I'm going to go to your boss. I'm going to go to God and tell him on you.
Come on. Go and tell Daddy.
I'm gonna tell you, this is what happened. One day, Tammy got her hair
That's
done.
okay, girl. We are both on the table. we
Tammy
already knew.
Tammy got her hair done, right?
Yeah.
And so, I was the last one to use the shower, but you know how you let the thing down like you're supposed to. So, well, I didn't do that. So she's running.
No, I was
water.
cleaning the bathroom.
Oh, you was okay.
I was
So
cleaning
she
the
was cleaning the
bathroom. Oh, my
bathroom.
gosh.
So she turns the water
With the fresh hair?
on,
Yes.
and the water comes out the thing, right? So she says, "Ron," I was like, "What?" She's like, "Did you not let the thing down for the shower?" I said, "I probably forgot about it," and just went on about my
No,
business.
see,
She was
no.
mad. Well, she went to the Lord. So
I was about to say, you had to.
she
You
went
had
to the
to.
Lord.
Oh, I
so
was
2 minutes.
so
Now, Titus,
upset.
how old was Titus?
Titus had to be, 10, 11.
Okay, I think he's about 10, 8,
Yeah.
9. He was small.
Yeah.
He goes in the room. He comes in the room. He said, "Dad." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Did you let leave the shower thing on?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "I made a mistake." "Dad, you were wrong."
Wow.
He said, "You were wrong. Now you know you shouldn't do it, and you didn't even apologize to mom." And then he turned around and walked out the room. And I was like, now normally you'd be like, but I'm like,
Like,
you
who
know
you
what?
talking to?
That
You
was-
like, oh, man.
Yeah, but see, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew, and
Yeah.
I went in there and I apologized, and then she said, "Yeah, because I was talking to
did.
the Lord."
You have to. You just have to rock and pray.
I
'Cause
kept
that-
cleaning.
and
I was
Titus
like,
came-
Lord, I
'Cause that's
said,
Titus came in there,
Yeah.
and he did that, and he's done it a couple of times.
Wow.
Yes.
Another story that was absolutely.
So he's the messenger.
Yeah.
yeah, he was the messenger a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
right.
But what's important in all of these stories is keeping your ego in check. Because you could have been
Absolutely.
like who you talking to, and that could have been a whole different thing with you and your
Right.
son missing the message you're supposed to get.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
And when that happens, the Lord has a way. He will correct us in love the first time. If he needs to correct you again, just like a parent, he will correct you more firmly
Yes.
in a way that you won't miss it.
Lord, to get that switch on
Yeah.
you.
So fortunately, Ron had the kind of heart, and I with the taco shells
Yeah.
right away. I was convicted.
Even me with my anger, because that could have escalated.
Oh, my
Had I just, you
gosh.
went off, now I'm going off.
Oh, and even with mine.
Yeah.
Because with that
Yeah.
happening, absolutely, I could have just taken it to 10.
Yeah, with the fingers. I
very
just got my
quickly.
hair
Oh, my
done.
gosh.
Wet hair
You
and
don't
all.
even yeah. So it's important to keep that ego in
Absolutely.
check and remember the love you have for that person,
Absolutely.
even
I
when
think
you're not
I'll go so
necessarily in
far as to
agreement.
keep your ego locked
Well,
up.
Yeah.
I think even further than that, I was just meditating and talking to the Lord about, and one of the things he told me is he said, "They don't belong to you; they belong to me, and you are a steward of your wife and of your children. And one day you will give an account to what you did with your stewardship."
We.
That'll put
So
everything in
when
check.
you begin
Yes.
to look at it from that standpoint,
Oh.
it becomes a whole different ball game.
It does. It does.
Right.
It does.
And you actually go to them a whole lot different, because all of a sudden it's like you have to separate the fact that you're not mine,
Yeah.
you're your father's.
Exactly.
And even though you're on loan to me as a mother,
Yeah.
I still have to go to God.
Yeah.
And that's hard for us mothers. We gave birth. They
But listen,
grew in
y'all,
us.
y'all hold that thought. Hold that thought, y'all. Listen, we are having an awesome conversation here with Ron and Tamara. We got we have, what you say, babe?
One of our favorite couples.
This book is the story of Jameson Harold Donovan, who lives in the city of Sussex Falls. Feeling trapped in his dysfunctional marriage to his wife, and a stranger to his own children. Thoughts of suicide dominate his waking hours. Jameson discovers he was selected before birth by the Almighty to receive quasi-angelic abilities. Between the ticks of the clock.
Hi, this is Wendy, and welcome to The Wendy Life. This is a brand new show. We are celebrating some unsung champions in our community, the disabled community. I have been a mom of disabled children for 21 years, and I look to bring light to this community. We are going to talk to and celebrate therapists, teachers, doctors in this community. We're going to talk to the special needs community themselves. People who are rocking out this life despite their disability, showing us how to live our best lives no matter what life throws at us. You can find us on the Ultimate Faith TV network, which is on your Roku streaming box, or Road to Eternity on YouTube. That's Road, the number 2, and Eternity.
The Wendy Life. New episodes every second and fourth Friday on the Road to Eternity channel.
You're listening to Jwfuzion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.
We're back with our conversation with Ron and Tamera Collum, our amazing friends. And so you guys were on a topic. I hope you remember what it was.
We've shared so much.
Right. I mean, we were just finishing up because we want to get with Ron's project. As mothers, it's kind of hard to see them as not ours.
Right, right.
But, you know, we pray a whole lot.
We pray.
The
We
older they
believe
get, we
God.
pray more.
Absolutely.
Well, I tell you what,
Yeah.
that's a powerful word that Ron just spoke when he said, God told him, they are not yours, they are mine. And you're a steward. And you're responsible. That's powerful.
It is. It puts everything into perspective.
Yeah.
Everything.
It puts everything in your
It
backyard.
puts that ego in check. You
Put
know?
it in your backyard.
Well, you know, one of the things too that you know, I've talked to Tammy about is I get a better understanding of how God is because the children are all different,
Every last
and
one
they
of
have
them.
different needs,
Right.
and I have to deal with them differently. I also have to have a wife that is different. I have to spend time with all of them and encourage and figure out and know what they need. The responsibilities of being a prophet, a teacher, you know, a provider, a lover for my wife. All of these things, as a man, you
Sure,
go through
sure.
and you deal with, and then you say, wow, they don't belong to me. They belong to God. So that gives me a sense of how I must rely on him to be able to fulfill those calls. Because when you get married, now you have your husband, you have children, then you become a father, but you don't stop being a husband. And so
Yes.
you have all of these different titles, and then you have to blend all of that in and help them to become what God calls them to be. It's a heavy and awesome and also rewarding responsibility.
Definitely.
And what's key is when you said that God gives you what you need, it takes the weight of it
Absolutely.
off you, and because we're supposed to cast our cares
On him.
who cares for us. But we have to put in the work. He gives us the tools.
Right.
He gives us the lumber, the wood, the nails to build it, but we still got to put in the labor
Absolutely.
to do it. And that's key. Okay, babe, you can go ahead and you can unwrap
You know,
this.
we don't get Ron often. You know, Ron works hard. So I'm just excited. I have so much I want to talk about and get in while we have him
Because you're
here.
excited.
I know. That's my word. I don't even
But that's
care.
me when he's off.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's like, woo, he's
Which is
off.
I know.
another good thing.
You know
Like,
what?
oh,
Let
you
me
off
tell you what.
today?
Let me tell you what.
Yes,
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. When we see Tamera at church, so how's Ron? oh, he's home.
Yeah.
I said, is Ron here? He's here today.
Yeah.
He's here today.
And that's awesome after 25 years, like,
I mean,
yeah.
it could be.
He in the-
He here.
Yeah. He off today.
I thought he had to work, but
Yeah.
so that joy,
Yeah.
that what's the word? That obvious enthusiasm.
Excitement.
Yeah,
You hear
That's
her? I hear her
real-
smiling. I'm not even
She
looking
said
at her.
her words are smiling. That's
They
awesome.
are.
I know.
Absolutely.
But we want to talk about this project. What is it? The Held
Hilo.
Hilo
LX.
XX
LX, baby.
LX.
Yes.
Hilo X LX.
Yes.
You know what? I'm gonna let Ron
Well, I
talk
was going to say,
about
why we let Ron talk?
it. He's the expert. He's the expert.
Yeah,
What is Hilo LX?
Well, it stands for Health and Life Oracle. And the thing that, I'm a technology person. I have over 25 years in IT and management and systems. And so let me tell you a little story about how I got involved with the product. My mom had my father, first of all, had a heart attack in 2003. And he ended up dying from that heart attack.
Wow.
Okay.
In 2006, my mom had a stroke, and she ended up dying from the stroke. In 2014, my brother had a heart attack. He ended up dying from that. And during that same period, I had an uncle who passed away. He had a heart attack. Now, in all of those cases, when my mom had her stroke, if you get them to the hospital within
Timing is everything.
within an hour, they can give them medicine and possibly reverse it.
Okay.
I was close enough to her that I could have gotten to her. My brother, they found him the next day. My uncle, they found him later on that week.
Okay.
The Hilo LX, the technology in it is operated by artificial intelligence. It monitors all your biometrics. Now, I tell people this. They say, well, high blood pressure is a silent killer. Not really. It tells your body what's going on, but you either don't recognize what it's telling you or you don't have a device that can capture that information. That's what the Hilo LX does.
Okay.
It captures the information. If that device would have been available when my mom was alive, because I was not that far away, we probably could have got her to the hospital in a
Sure.
timely fashion, but they didn't find her till later on. So this monitors all your biometrics. Your skin is the biggest organ in the body.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you wear it on your wrist, you can wear it on your ankle, you can wear it attached to your body, but it will monitor automatically 24/7 your blood pressure, your heart rate, your breath rate,
Okay.
what UV levels you're getting. If you're tired,
Wow.
what your mood is. You can run an ECG on yourself to find out how your heart. Matter of fact, with the apps, because we have what you call an open API, you have a lot of developers that are developing apps. They have one app called Vita Plus.
Okay. Wait a minute. What's the API? So people, what's the open API?
Open API is just the standard,
Okay.
meaning that the device. This is the best example that I can give you. Everybody's familiar with Apple
Yeah.
and
Yes.
the Apple Store.
They're
Yes.
closed API.
Apple, right. Well, it's open, but they have a set of rules for all of the developers.
Okay.
So once you comply with the rules, you can develop any kind of app that will run on that iPhone.
Okay.
So ours is open from the standpoint of we have developers that can develop based upon the rules any kind of app to
Okay.
work with the Hilo.
Okay. Okay.
So we have one now that can do a 5-minute test on your heart. And once that test is over, it'll tell you how your heart is functioning, also how your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your upper, your lower intestines, how all that's working.
Now, is there a way
Wow.
that this information can be transmitted to your physician? Or
Yes,
does
we
it go to a
actually
database?
have a program called not Life Source, but it's called LifeLog.
Okay, LifeLog.
Yeah, and that information is actually, it tabulates all of that information. Matter of fact, Tammy was on high blood pressure medication, and they were changing her meds. And at one point, before Taryn, our daughter, was driving, she got on the expressway and she started losing consciousness. And so the Lord really blessed. She was able to get
Oh,
off.
Jesus.
But when I found out about it, I asked her, I said, did they change your meds? And she said, yeah, they.
That was your first question.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was my first question. I said, what changed? That's the IT background. Because if
Okay.
everything's working okay,
Find the source.
then I got to find out what, and then if something starts acting up,
Sure.
then I have to figure out what
Yeah.
was added.
Right. Right.
You know, and so that was it. And it was a different pill. I said, stop taking that pill. So when she stopped taking it, that went away because that would happen quite,
Wow.
frequently.
Sure.
But I wanted to get her off of those high blood medication, but they would not take it off. They said, you need to monitor your blood pressure. Well, she's working every day. So only time with the standard way to do it,
Yeah.
you only could do it at night, and that wasn't enough. Plus that, she had white coat syndrome.
Oh.
So every
Okay.
time
Yeah, it's
I would
always
go
gonna
into
be
the
high.
doctor's office,
Always.
So it was
which I
spiked.
don't like,
It was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would work work myself up so that it would just be off the
Yeah,
charts.
you're high.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And so therefore it would never be within the range that they wanted it to be. And the one thing was always, we've got to change your medication.
Oh, wow.
But
Okay.
when I'm home, when I'm relaxed, if I'm doing, it's always normal.
Okay.
You know, so, this, I'll let you finish, but this
Wow.
helped us tremendously.
So
Nice.
what happened was I had found the product because there's another product on the market that deals with fitness tracking that Tammy said, well, do you want to get that? And I was like, well, I'm thinking it can monitor your blood pressure because of my family history, I wanted to make sure I had something like that. When I found
Sure.
out all it did was your steps and stuff like, which is
Right.
what ours does that as well. I said,
It
well,
wasn't
I really don't
enough. You
want
needed
that.
more.
I
Yeah.
needed more.
Right.
I needed more. And so when I found this, I got really excited because I realized there was nothing on the market like this. So I got one for Tammy. So she has a doctor's appointment, white coat syndrome. Blood pressure's high.
Yeah.
So Tammy takes out her smartphone.
But you have the history
because
down.
because you get 3 days on the phone. She said, my blood pressure is never this high. So the doctor scrolls through, and this is what she says. Wow, I've never seen anything like this.
Wow.
And we had someone today that was going through that, went to their doctor, was telling about the product. The doctor said the same thing. I've never seen anything like it.
So why isn't it in? I would think that would start there.
Well,
to empower them to have the information that they need that they can't always get at that doctor's appointment.
well, this is the thing. It's education,
Yeah.
right? Only reason you're not a dentist is because you don't have the education to become a dentist or somebody who's a lawyer. They haven't spent the. So what has to happen is there has to be education.
Sure.
And so what we did was, because her blood pressure was high, they said, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lower your meds. We want you to come back in 30 days. So what I did, because I have a reporting feature, is the day they changed the med, they put on the lowest dose. And from that day for 30 days, she had the Hilo on, and we tracked it for 30 days. And so when she went back, I ran a report.
You had a 30-day as
I had a
opposed to the
30-day
3-day
report.
before. Oh,
Right.
wow.
And so she went back to the doctor.
A printed report,
Yeah.
because
Love
you
it.
can print it.
Right. And so doctor says, you had a report. She handed it to her. Doctor left, went through the whole report, and knew when.
Highlighted every incident that was up, which
Right.
wasn't many. And
Wow.
also the day that I came in,
Yeah.
which it was up. But other than that, it had been very,
Right.
very
Wow.
This is
that
a
was a
product.
blessing, right?
This is a product that people need to know about because I mean, especially people, the baby boomers. Oh my gosh, because I got to get one of these, babe. I mean, we've been talking.
He meant to say we.
I know we've been. Well, I mean,
Because I'm
truthfully
thinking that
speaking,
your brother, you said it was your brother?
Yeah.
He wasn't a baby boomer, was he?
Yeah, he was older.
Oh,
I'm
he
the
was.
youngest.
He's older.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've lost all everybody in my immediate family has passed away.
But I'm even
Yeah.
thinking of that actor who just passed, Luke Perry. He was 52 and
Yeah.
had a massive
Yeah.
stroke and
Yeah.
died. So I think that, especially with the way our diet is, the way food is processed, I think everyone
and
can
the stress
benefit from
levels
that.
that people have.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, Wendy. To being honest, Wendy has been saying for months, "Babe, we gotta get Ron about that product.
Yeah.
We gotta." And we talk about it, but we haven't done it. But we have to do it.
Right.
We have to because I don't know. It's something about knowing
It's
that you
empowering.
can- that it is empowering,
Yeah.
and it helps you to be aware, because you can't go to the doctor every week.
Right.
But then even someone like Tamara,
I mean,
if she
look-
didn't have that, what would they have her on?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
dosage of that
See,
medication
See,
would
that-
they have her
and
on?
that's-
Right.
And that's
And
the
that's the
thing.
thing, yes.
I tell people this all the time. Say something's going on with you. You call and you set up an appointment for the doctor. When you get in, they're gonna say this, Wendy, what brings you here today? And you're gonna tell them what's going on. They're gonna say, when did it happen?
Yes.
How long
How
has it
long?
been happening?
Yes.
And they're gonna ask you all these questions. And then based upon what you tell them, they're gonna recommend something.
Which is not
Yeah.
always accurate
Which
because you're
isn't
just going from
accurate.
what you
That's
remember.
right. That's right.
Absolutely.
And
That's
it's
right.
just that point in time.
Exactly.
It's not, months ago
Right.
or anything like that. It's at that particular point in time, which the picture is always going to be different.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just that picture at that time. It doesn't
Or you
mean
get
it's
there
the
and you're
norm.
fine. You're like, I promise you, I've been just
Absolutely.
Well,
sick.
Right.
we actually had someone who had an issue with their heart. And it was an intermittent thing. So by the time they got to the doctor and asked all
They
the
seemed
questions, he's like,
fine.
well, if it happens again, just
Right.
let
Yeah,
us know.
yeah.
Well, they actually had the helo. And so when it happened, they ran an ECG. Now, this how medical grade sensors that are on the device. They were able to run an ECG, put it in a PDF format, send it to the doctor. The doctor looked at it and said, I see what's going on here. This is what we
See.
need to do.
Wow.
That
And
makes
so-
you more of the process of taking care
Yeah.
of yourself.
I tell
medically.
people all the time, I think self-care is going to be the new industry because not that you're not excluding your doctor.
Sure.
But a doctor needs information.
Exactly.
How many times have you heard people say or been on meds and then they say, well, doc, this med is making me feel this way. And
Yeah,
then he
yeah,
changes it.
yeah.
Well, now Dr. Med is doing this. Well, let's try that.
Right. They got to
Oh,
play
this
with
is
the
good.
dosages
Right.
and with the meds
Oh,
and the
man.
mix
Now,
in
what
hopes that it'll work.
what we have is a whole program where you can get tested for your DNA and the meds that you take because everybody's DNA is different.
Exactly.
Right.
But with the Helo and how it tracks and plus the DNA testing, they will give you a report. They go over to you where you take to your doctor. And now he doesn't have to guess because your DNA is different than mine.
Sure.
But they're going to, because if you have high blood pressure and I have high blood pressure, they're going to, it's these 3, 4, 5 medicines.
Right, there's
So
a-
they're going
right.
to put us on the same medicine.
Sure.
And so it's those types of things that I think that right now, and you got a baby boomer generation, and it's just so many features that this thing. I'm just telling you about that because blood pressure is one of the biggest things that you deal with.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
So
Yeah.
the more information you can provide to your doctor helps them.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing. It's not that we want to say that this is the answer. It's not the answer. This is a great assistant.
It's part of the
It's
answer.
part of
to get
helping
to come to a better
Absolutely.
to
answer.
come to
It's-
a better answer to give to the doctor. The two work together.
Yeah.
It's a
And-
great
and it
tool.
helps
I mean,
Absolutely.
I
to
mean,
diagnose, right.
It's. I mean, they're saying that now. The what they say 80 is the new 60 or 70 or something like that. I know I'm gonna live to be 80, 90.
He has to. I don't have time
Wendy,
for
well,
all
first of all, Wendy's already
Just saying.
decreed. She's put a
Yes,
command
She
out.
done already
She's
said
decreed.
it.
All right.
Okay.
Because my oldest brother's 80. He's still working as a sheriff down south.
Awesome.
And to look at him, you would think he was maybe 69, 70. He's 80. He'll be 81 this year.
Okay.
I'll be 65 this year.
Okay.
And so with a product like that, there are things that can be headed off.
Absolutely.
Because that's the key, is heading off that infirmity before it get a hold of you, or when something can be done about it. You know what I mean?
Or like he said, it helps with the DNA because
And that's
there have
huge.
been instances
Sure,
where
sure.
the medicine that a person was taking is what killed them.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But if
yeah,
you have
yeah.
if the doctor has a better idea of what exactly you need,
Uh-huh.
then
Yeah.
that's helpful as well.
And
Yeah.
the neat thing about the product is you can start out with, I just need my blood pressure monitored. And making sure that it's at the right levels because I've gotten abnormal readings. And I'm like, well, what's abnormal? What's going on here? Well, one time I was on the expressway in traffic. Well, anybody knows that your blood pressure going to go up and down.
Traffic.
But another
Yes,
time,
it is.
another time when I got notified and I saw it come up, I looked at the time. And when I thought back at the time, I was eating something that caused my blood pressure to go up.
Oh, another way of helping.
Cut it out of my diet.
Yes.
Don't eat it anymore.
Now, is there a
Wow.
feature on here, like you said, with your mom and you were close enough, that would notify someone if there's a serious health thing going on with you?
There's a feature called We Care. That feature also, like I have Tammy and my daughter on it. So I can actually monitor their vitals, okay? And it's HIPAA compliant because even if I want to do connect with them on We Care, they have to approve me and what I can monitor.
Okay.
So it's not like I connect with them and I get everything. No, they have to approve it. So let's say you have a parent that wants to remain independent, but you need to check on them.
Sure.
You
That's
can use that
good.
feature. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then you can also set it up so that in the event that it's abnormal, like life alert. A lot of people talk
Okay.
about life and
Yeah,
you hit the
yeah,
button.
yeah.
Well, you're going to spend about $2,000 to do that, and you got to hit a button. If
Right.
I'm asleep and something goes wrong,
Yeah.
now you got to have a smartphone. It's going to notify. It's going to notify whoever I have in there as the We Care
Sure,
person
sure.
that something's going wrong, and you got to notify me. And so we had a couple because I was setting it up and I didn't tell them
Okay.
that I was I set it up and because there's another feature called SOS.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes, okay.
I can hit the helo twice, a button on it twice, and it will send out a distress message to who I have set up.
Just sent the whole family.
And then it will
upside
tell
down.
them that I sent the message, and it will show them where I was
last
last
known
located at,
Wow.
and the
Location,
directions
GPS
on how to
locations.
get to me.
Wow.
Yep.
Right. And so I was setting it up, and I just hit it, wanted to make sure. And I was trying to text them to say I was.
It
my
moved too
phone
fast for you.
Yeah. They were like, you okay? You okay?
Now, does the distance of the person matter? Like my mom is in Texas.
Don't matter.
Okay.
Don't matter.
My mom will be calling you about this. So.
Yeah, it does not
Your mom
matter.
definitely needs
Yeah,
that.
because my mom lives alone.
Yeah.
No.
And
It
you
does.
just never know.
It
don't.
does. You don't, and that's the thing. And like I said, the way I lost my family, and especially my mom and my brother, because I'm really close to my brother, and I was, in terms of us communicating.
Sure.
And then my mom, I was close enough to her that
Yeah.
if I'd have known, I couldn't have got over there in enough time.
So this will hopefully help other families not experience what you
I
experienced.
think it would.
I know it
Because
would.
we had a
That's
friend,
huge.
the Lord just had us at her place.
Oh yeah.
And she had was it a massive stroke she
had a stroke. She was
Wow.
no, it wasn't a stroke. She had an aneurysm.
Right.
She was gonna
Yeah.
she was gonna edit my book for me between the ticks of the clock. We went over there with the manuscript. We were supposed to have gone over there that Monday. And
And
she was
couldn't
doing
get-
something with
yeah.
her grandkids, so we went that Tuesday. So Wendy and I were sitting there, we're talking with her, and so she's looking through it. She said, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome." So she's sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden, she's an interesting lady. She says, "Oh, I think I'm having a situation."
Touched her head.
I'm having a situation.
She
Y'all
touched-
are gonna
and
have
she
to help me.
hit the floor.
She falls out on the floor.
We were like, what the?
Wow.
Her bowels let loose,
Yeah.
Wow.
and we were. I started
First
down.
we
I
told
started
him to
praying
pray,
for her. You started
and
dialing
I'm calling,
911. Within 3 to 5 minutes,
And it's like they were
911 They were like they
downstairs.
was downstairs
Waiting, right, 'cause
watching
they got
their
there
nails or
fast.
something. Because in a few, like less than 5 minutes,
They were there.
ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they got her to the hospital. We were able to tell the doctors exactly what happens,
happened.
that
Yeah.
she was able to talk.
Right.
So it wasn't a stroke, it was an aneurysm.
And she touched her head. I think that's what
Yeah,
made.
she
So when
touched her head.
people need to pay attention if something happens, which unfortunately can. Pay attention to the details, the time.
signs,
Right.
Yeah, the different signs. Even if you
Yeah.
like, I didn't think touching her head meant anything. I was just like,
But
yeah,
the
she
doctor
touched her head.
said
She was
that
like,
was
wait,
that was huge.
that means something.
It was
so we
huge.
know how to take care of her.
Yeah, and the fact that she was able to speak, she said, "Oh, I'm having a situation. Y'all gonna have to help me."
Right.
She felt she had aneurysm.
Yeah.
If we had given her
hadn't
that
been there.
manuscript the day before, she'd have been gone.
Because they say a lot of people that happens
she
to and
lived
they
alone.
wake up
Right.
She lived alone.
and then they just go to bed thinking like, let me take a
Yeah.
couple Tylenol and go to
Right.
sleep, and they
Right.
die.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So that's a powerful piece of technology.
Yeah, the neat thing about it, like I said, you got to have a smartphone. But the neat thing about that is you can set this up, and if your vitals rise above or drop below a certain level, it's going to contact whoever you've set up to be contacted for them.
Okay.
That's
check on you.
perfect.
Wow. That's
So what are the strives as far as getting this as a regular? I mean, because I'm thinking if this is something that the medical community embraces, then insurance allows, people can afford it.
Well,
because
right
insurance
now,
may pick it
right.
up.
Well, the affordability, I mean, you're talking about what, $250, $260?
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it's very reasonable.
I would think it was way more than that.
Oh no! It's
Okay.
it's not. And then we have packages that we do with the DNA to help, because a lot of people are taking medicines that are affecting them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very affordable. Right now, it's listed as a Class 1 medical device over in Europe.
okay.
I know they're working on the FDA approval here. But for what it does, I mean, it's not a medical device, but the information that this thing
It can
does
help.
and what it can do will help anyone who has a elderly family member that they're concerned about for their own health,
Sure.
for your children.
Yeah.
Even with the SOS feature, a lot of people, their kids have to go and they have to go to work.
Yeah. I mean, they're
and-
at school. You never know what's
Absolutely.
happening at school.
You can hit the SOS button and
Yeah.
you can get notified and know exactly where they're at.
Yes.
This is huge for children who have allergies.
yeah.
It's huge for so many different applications. This, man, we're gonna have to work with Ron and get this.
Calling my doctor tomorrow.
No, we gotta get this message out.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
important. And people, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it. There are people who are hearing this broadcast that the bells are going off for them because they've lost loved ones to heart attack, stroke, aneurysms, having problems with high blood pressure. That if only they'd known.
Right.
Because you hear people talking about if you get a stroke victim to the hospital, if you get them, well, if nobody's notified, how are you going to get them there?
Right.
So how do people find out about that, the device, more information?
Yeah. If you want more information, you can go to my website, www.smartwtechnology.com. Or you can look for me on Facebook at Self-Care Tech. Facebook Self-Care Tech.
Okay.
And I'm located there.
Okay.
Or you can call me at.
Yeah, put the number down. Because what we're going to do, we're going to create an info page
Right.
at the end of the video
Okay.
Right.
for
What's
the
the phone number?
broadcast.
You can just call me at 708-404-5145.
Okay. Yeah, we have all
Now,
information
now
in
this
the
is
list.
your direct website?
Yes.
Is this
Smart
okay?
W.
Smart to-
Okay.
Yeah, smart.
So what we want to do with this, and those of you that are listening, be sure that you check out the video. It'll be on YouTube, and a week after this airs, it'll be out there. You'll be able to know. You'll be able to find it easily because we're going to make sure of that. But what this does is can possibly save the life of a loved one, can save your life, and
Or allow you to just live a better life because you're doing what you're supposed to do for you.
and prevent you winding up in a situation where you're not living any quality of life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when these things hit you, sometimes you don't really get to come back. You don't get
Right.
to come back. Man, baby, the time's gone.
Once again, Jesus.
Where's the time go?
Thank you for being
Thank
such
you so
wonderful
much.
guests.
Gosh,
For
we've
being
had
here.
Such fun.
Ron, good to see you.
Good to see. Good to be seen. Good to be seen.
Listen, that's our broadcast this week of Jwfuzion. I'm here with my lovely, gorgeous, brilliant, and gorgeously excited
He's so
wife,
good for the ego.
Wendy B.
Absolutely.
And our
I
guests,
agree.
Ron and Tamara. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
Listen,
us.
you
Thank
guys
Joy.
tune in next week, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. on Artist First Radio Network. We will be back next week with some more exciting guests.
Yes.
Let God's grace flow in your life as a mighty river.
Thanks for listening to Jwfuzion with your hosts, James and Wendy B.